Live from Laval's, we are Mad Hat. Mad Hat is Paul Glaviano on flute, Jeff Crane on bass and saxophone, Philip Schubert on electric piano, George LaFrancis on drums,
and Jeffrey Smith on vocals and genius poetry.
Go for it. Composition. Realize first, you have no talent. The great poems have all been written by others, most long dead. Abase yourself at their memorial shrines. Lose your unworthy self in their lines. Rive your hair, wail and shriek, for the muse has ignored you. Weep, or sit stone-faced through sterile days when nature is stagnant and barren. No eyes stare back at you. Voices spout endless drivel. Ashes lie upon the fields. Agonize that poetry is not your calling. You wield a neutered pen. Your listeners sigh impatient. And then, when your violent, self-negating sorrow has reduced you to nothingness, just the will to survive, to make a living among the suits. No ego left. Approach the blank page gently, without a plan or an epitaph. Move the pen's tip closer slowly. Listen hard with all your soul. Coax life up from the blankness. Ask the page to reveal its treasures. Make something happen. This one is called Atman. It's the Hindu word for the soul. Fog outside the house. Above the avenue, muting its engines. Fog between the leaves of the trees. I whisper my thoughts out onto the page where the ink diffuses them. Wish I could write smaller, more illegibly, timidly. Searching for my soul, I must not let my footfalls be heard, or it will flit unheeded away and hide where I cannot follow. Into the basin of the lily, or between the shirts in my closet, waiting for the mysterious one to break without mercy, give clarity to the things of vision, and let the soul retreat into the breath where the dazzled eye cannot penetrate. I came into this world a holy terror, wailing, whining between gasps, setting up a racket, and still I growl around the house, stomp on the creaking boards, vibrating the dust mites on the tabletops. I am a loud thing of motion, overawed by silence, cowed by stillness. I must avoid places where the self lurks, peaceful, serene, ready to muzzle me, stop my profane growling. The garden creatures slither through the brown earth, disdaining the noisy air, or form shells of silence in which to retreat. I stumble noisily by, uproot them, smash them. I am a flailing mess of muscle, an engine of bone, a hurricane of voice. The silent things flee me. My soul is silent. Why can I not learn silence? Even my sleep is loud and animated, full of colors, sounds, voices, words, maddening music. The cacophony is deafening. I am thrown to the noisy threshing floor, the smoldering orange throat of the machine, roaring behind jaws of steel. Must arise, must scramble away. Ah! The noise, the heat, the motion, escape! Boom, boom, the floor, smash down the floor. Landscape outside, alive with sound, color, sun. I am going mad. There is too much. Cannot keep up. Listen. I cannot hear the water plunging through the hose, flowing through the air. But when it hits the scattered bark around the newly planted flowers, I hear that. It trickles between the tender green leaves. If I crimp the hose, I can hear the pressure making the faucet squeal, but I cannot hear the water soaking into the soil. Although I can see the water sink and disappear. I cannot see or hear the subterranean roots taking in the water. Now the mind works, the years of lessons and practice. Yes, I am probably hitting the mark. But I cannot see or hear or feel or conjure the doors to the deaf-mute soul. Somehow, somewhere, I think it senses the earth receiving the water, but I cannot force myself to feel it fully. At the center of me is a black hole of mystery. All the noise and motion of my unwieldy body, the midnight phantoms of the mind, keep my center hidden from me beneath the rhythm of my breathing. And I chase my soul fruitlessly through the garden and the fog. Thank you very much. This one is called Discipline. Some pumpkin seeds dropped from a fumbling hand into our newly fertile garden. And presto! Up from the earth shot the eager green infant stalks, ready to creep. But my vigilant wife plucked up the stalks, sprouted seed and all, named them foul intruders in the domain of flowers. While I crouched, pensive and grieving. One seed fell into a hill of soil in the very corner of the yard, hidden behind an eruption of daisies where she couldn't see it. I watched the huge, broad, solitary leaf form, saw the prickly vine grow strong, venturing out from behind the daisies. Months later, the vine stretched several feet with 8 or 10 broad, independent leaves, photosynthesizing. And a faded orange blossom formed, imitating its flower neighbors. This blossom was what my wife saw, with surprise and joy, and that sharp intake of breath I love. There was too much life there now to be plucked up. My little secret intruder had grown into a respectable living thing. A few days later, I saw that the silent, cunning vine had penetrated the picket fence atop the property line and had sent out spiral tendrils which were anchoring themselves to the neighbors' gladiolas. Mrs. Bach is tall and old, with brown age spots and gray matted hair. She towers over her feeble, half-alert husband, who just totaled their white Mercedes, attempting to engineer a tricky left turn at University in Shattuck. They have a new Mercedes now. This one is grayer than the first, but their prize gladiolas are not insured. And they surely don't need a rustic pumpkin vine choking them with its claspers. So I yanked the prickly vine back through the fence. The tendrils grudgingly loosed their grip and disengaged and sat slackly spiraling around dead air as I rearranged the vine on our side of the fence in the shade of the blue hibiscus. Oh, thank you very much. Now for another true story.
Oh no, not that one.
This one is about a little bit of surgery that I had almost 2 years ago to remove a piece of my chest. And I hope this poem represents to you what that experience was like. I have always been afraid of doctors, dentists, and others of that ilk. Invitation to an excision. That funereal honky-tonk of dirty dishes, carrot patch stitches, a dirge for the dancers. One of those dang cold malignant winds from last winter blew up the pass and took with it half my chest. Unregretted. Yeah, right, John Wayne. Deflate the machismo for a few milliseconds. Admit the hurt. That part of you, brown as the devil's dug, sent down to pathology, bathed in formalin poison. I wonder if it even raised an eyebrow, brushing against the microscope's eyepiece, an eye accustomed to seeing. The grim, slow, hooded march of contagion, plodding with scythes through the universe, harvesting the crops, filling the coffers. Excuse me, but as bananas go, my skin is still quite green, and God don't want no green bananas, do he?
Where the hell did that come from?
That ham-handed doctor of the dermis. His large, round, woolly head shaking with age on its perch, like an old woman mumbling over her beads. Hopefully his fingers will not dotter so over my breast. Grasping the xylocaine syringe, hey, I've seen bongs that were smaller. He becomes a minion of torture from Dante's Inferno, pricking a pentagram of pain around my nipple, encircling my holiest of holies. My back bathing the butcher paper below me in sweat. My ears stuffed with cotton, my eyes averted but not closed. Sweet, sweet consciousness, to you I cling. Great God in heaven! While the demons prick, pull, slice, excise, waft with me among the dust motes in this warm, sunlit room on the island of Seoul. Preserve me so I can see more baseball games. See the sunburst smile of the one I love. Taste a Milky Way bar. There, yes, I felt that. A warm trickle of thick burgundy dripping off my chest, collecting in my armpit. That spot she kissed goodbye with those blessed lips this morning will not be there tomorrow. Eyes averted, ears stuffed, still they till my virgin earth. My brain only a foot away feels dull pressures, tearings, hints of heinous knife play from that region of me deadened by Morpheus. And I hear the monotonous play-by-play. Everything is progressing quite nicely. Nothing out of the ordinary is happening. We're making good, steady progress. He can do this, yes he can, because ancient Vesalius robbed the graveyards of their moldering skeletons, because pervert Pavlov hooked up a catch tube to a German shepherd's salivary gland. All those old celebrated medical experiments have culminated in this ham-fisted, doddering doctor of the dermis. Sporting that visual magnification bonnet straight out of a 50s sci-fi flick. Now stitching me up like a sweater on Grandma's sewing table. Stitch, 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 knit one, purl two. Ah, jeez! That needle went right through my nipple. That vestigial dried up dug whereat my ancestors suckled 1,000,000 years ago. Gather around now, all ye worthies, you who have fed me genetic fuel through the millennia. Homo habilis, erectus, zinjanthropus. Arrange your bones in an attentive circle and listen to the pronouncement. Well, this was a bad mole. Great God in heaven! I'm 90 to 95% sure we've got it all out, but I want to go back in and take some more out to make 100% sure. As the sweat balls form on my forehead, I study his wide, gap-toothed smile. What about my nipple? I won't lose it, will I? This procedure shouldn't affect the nipple. Again, the picket fence smile. Mental note, remember to tip a few beers with this doctor in paradise. Don't shower until Sunday. Get a chest x-ray. See me next Thursday. You're free to go. Chin up. Now I'm on the couch in my living room, lost in a zillion dust motes spotlighted by the fading sun, listening to the silly march of cars on the street, watching the evening wind ripple my awnings, scribbling out my thoughts, patting the neat row of carrot-top stitches on my chest, playing the percentages. Thank you very much. This next poem was written while thinking of a friend whose mother died. Written while I was at a party and kind of ignoring the people around me, engrossed in my art, I guess. It's a threnody, which is a death song, and it's called Nocturnal Threnody. The lights are alive. Yellow, white, and blue night lights of cities to the west, flickering like 10,000 localized fires. How can wind blow light and make it flicker? My brain cannot accept the concept. Sense of touch impinging upon sense of sight. Blue lights bleeding onto black night water are the only ones which remain unmoved. And in the deeper distance is the long, thin black hole of Seismic Bay, beyond which are more fiery, insane, flickering night cities. I perch above life while still within life, which echoes in my ear with myriad inseparable voices. I peer up the nostrils and between the lips of the recent dead, investigating the nexus where the light fails and the breath begins. There is a fire right in front of me warming my legs. How can the fire stop time amidst all the evidence of its passage? How can I become a red-hot coal in that tortured Venusian landscape beyond the fire screen? My friend, you have lost your mother. She whose birth canal you passed through molders, breathes no longer, decomposes, and still the robotic cities flicker, cities which once were hers freely to roam, before dust choked the nostrils and eyes became one with eyelids. The things we have built outlive us. Metal and stucco and tungsten survive, while flesh wrinkles, cracks, and submits. But even staunch city lights quail and fluctuate in the brisk night wind which with her breath has joined. Nurture your flame. Of course, one day either accident or nature will extinguish it. But you, my friend, I have heard you create music which could make a mountain dance, move tribes across continents. The notes from your guitar have hypnotized me to eternal repose on nights such as this, on other shores. You yet have life and health and an artistic legacy to live up to. Take a deep breath. Play on. In memory of Anne Marie Jordan, died December 18th, 1992. Profession of faith. I am a screen person. I am one of a tribe of screen people. I have learned to distrust the world outside my front door and to rely on the screen. Small screen, computer screen, silver screen. I progress through time in a tube-shaped, insulated capsule. Hands pressed to hips, legs together, eyes half functioning. Tube tumbling slowly head over heels through the backdrop of my day, plunging with muffled impact into the high velvet opera curtain of night. Senses deadened by overabundance of focus, the self-induced glaucoma of the screen, limiting the peripheries of sight. Tunnel vision, funnel vision. I could walk out my front door right now descend my steps, walk directly across the 4 a.m. dark street, trudge up through my neighbor's ivy with a crackle of dried leaves. That would be something. I could climb the big knobby trunk tree in my front yard. Perch there like an owl until daybreak, listening to the secrets of the night. That would be something. But the screen is only just across the room, and a mere finger activates it. 58 colorful worlds where people are living, vibrant, awake, solicitous, even at this hour when the muses sleep. Easy, painless world of flickering boredom where night winds do not blow. What shall I do? Shall I get a job producing programs for my people to fill up their screens with? Or should I teach them how to walk out their doors and feel life for themselves with their hands and wide vision eyes? Daughters of memory. Epic poetry. Lyric poetry. Comedy, tragedy, music, dance. History, astronomy, sacred poetry. These were the 9 muses of the ancients. What are our modern muses? Pornography, celluloid, heavy metal, computer viruses, media hype, sitcoms, MTV, accounting, Nintendo. With the right screen, you can do anything. Insulate yourself from all pain and magic. The world out the window is natural drab. I've forgotten how to touch the earth, read the stars, breathe the breeze. I cannot escape the addiction of the screen. It attracts me magnetically, removes me from my life, gives me a perfect fantasy body to frolic dumb and blind in. My mind desires oneness with the screen's image. It looks for reflections of itself. Without the screen, my mind is useless, lacking guidance, lacking form, doomed to certain insanity. Silver screen, computer screen, small insidious green dormant screen, techno trinity. Lead my people slack-jawed to the slaughter. Sacrifice our staring selves. Grant us digital resurrection and unlimited memory. All glory and honor is yours. Amen. What channel is this show on again? 8. Screaming out over Channel 8 in Richmond. It's Mad Hat, yeah.
Go.
Yeah, that's it. That's right, baby.
Do it, man. Do it.
This one goes out to my wife and no one but my wife.
Good.
Fasten your seatbelt.
It's law.
It's called Nude. I like it when she sits on top of me and receives me into her squat. I penetrate a cushioned void, rain-soaked cotton candy cosmos. Probe, retreat, smile, ooh. There is motion, maddening motion. Globes of flesh droop onto the sides of my face. Eyes wide or closed. There is only beauty. I see her bite her lip. I hear her breathing deepen. I feel her bones bear down. I smell the human scent. Fragrant, humid, earthy. Dry torrents of hair pelt my face cells with pinprick pleasure. Inside my eyelids are deep drugged colors, red, black, and visible zephyrs. Still the motion, the deepening rhythm, the curly hairs combust. The sign of no return flashes from the skin of my soul, surrendered to the mask of insanity, abandoned to the drums. I pulse, and pulse, and pulse, and pulse, and pulse. From the ribs down I glow and burn, a still red coal in a dying fire. I come with a rush back into my cells from regions uncharted. And now there is no need for metaphor, only for air. Violence. Locked out of my house. I stood on the sidewalk in front of the supermarket, leaning on a newspaper vending machine. People loafed down the sunlit street. Cars murmured by at slow speed. A young man walked willfully across the street, straight at me, staring fixedly. I must shift my position, or he'll walk right into me. I turned to my right to avoid him, but his feet held fast to their determined path, and his left shoulder clipped mine as he passed. I turned to look at him. I heard his words as he retreated. "Don't bump me! You want an ass whipping? You lesbian!" I could only look at him. The tight curl of his hair, clench of his jaw, coffee cup in his hand. For me, there were no words. He turned around and disappeared into the anonymity of the supermarket. I wanted to grab his neck with both hands and crush his skull on the concrete frame of the bus stop bench. I wanted to summon up angry words, to leave him lying in a pool of his own blood, walking off triumphant while others called for an ambulance. I wanted to conjure words to return his challenge. I wanted to calm him down. Across the street, a meter maid was writing tickets. I crossed the street, half intending to ask her if she were a real police officer. I have been threatened for no reason by a stranger. He's in that supermarket. Would you apprehend him, please? No, no help. My word against his. She's only a meter maid. Take stock. I have money. I have a checkbook. I am clothed, if not dressed. I'm wearing the t-shirt I slept in last night, some ragged gray sweatpants, no underwear, high-top gym shoes, day-old socks, an old blue jacket. I'm getting out of town! I have $1 for the bus and a magic ticket to get across the bay. I have no key to my life, but I have friends who desire my art, who could turn this story into strange music. back to the shady side of the street. And wait at the bus stop. Hey, that guy's still in the supermarket. He could re-emerge any second. Renew his quarrel. He's smaller than I. If he doesn't have a gun or a knife, it would be a fair fight. But women walk by here with babies and strollers, and I'd end up in jail. Win or lose, right or wrong, my ribs and knuckles aching. The bus comes. I feed it my dollar and sit. All I need now is pen and paper. I have money. All right. Way to go, Mad Hat.
Getting mad.
Jeff Crane on bass.
Yeah.
Philip Schubert on electric piano. Paul Glaviano with a yeoman's job on flute. And all the way from Springfield, Massachusetts, George LaFrancis on drums. My name is Jeff Smith.
Jeff Smith on poetry. Just entering the room.
Vocals.
Dancing. Right on his feet. Extraordinary. Yeah. Jeff Smith.
This one goes out to the people in the audience who were present at this particular occurrence in 1985. Hotel Utah flashback. Apotheosize Larry here on the 4th floor of this battered shitbag hotel on this desolate corner in San Francisco with a view of the freeway, where you snore soundlessly under a billowy coverlet, where you sleep away the horror of a raging brain, where if you weren't so far gone, I would sneak over and whisper in your ear the music of the spheres. No doubt your dreams sleep too, my friend, and you drift in a suspended alcohol float far above or below this floor, where we, your 4 avatar apostles, arrange our limbs around your dozing form, trying to catch a little shut-eye, unaided by our own drugs, and plagued or lulled by the sounds of this partly decomposing city, dead for at least 6 hours. No, my ribs and hips don't like unaided floors. Float through pink, float through blue, what a jolly glorious thing to do. You prancing, jesting, fucking, flaming man thing, ablaze with a maze of blazing, amazing maze blazes. Shiver not in your cute little man panties, and harden not your nipples as your sick friend here decides whether to play craps or cards for your clothes after you've arisen or sunk, as the case may be. Larry, apotheosize!
Oh, what?
The next 2 poems were written April 21st, April 20th and April 21st of last year. April 20th was the night that Robert Alton Harris was executed. First one's called Albany Landfill. Ice plants in bloom. Perfect circles of pale purple surrounding sunbursts of yellow pistils shooting up from that clammy, creeping roadside growth. Hundreds of tiny shorebirds twitter symphonically, peck at the bay mud. A duck floats idly into view. The tiny birds take wing and flee, noiselessly, immediately, completely, abandoning this stretch of mud. Ah, a lizard, very black, appears, does push-ups on the concrete. Up, down, up, down. Mating practice? Some strange sensory mechanism? There's another. No push-ups for her. She lingers at his side a moment, finds a shady crevice, vanishes in the blackness. Whoa, a noise close behind me. I pivot around to look. A striped snake moving through the ice plant, now half hidden under my chunk of concrete. I crane my head over the side to see his head. Nonchalant.